Hey everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card using the August stamp of the month called Floral Celebration. And you can get the stamp of the month with any $50 purchase in my online store, and it's $5. Okay, so let's get started. I have a stencil that I have cut using the Art Booking Cricut cartridge, and it's a background stencil. And I'm going to do a color blend using blending brushes and 4 ink colors. So it's just going to be a loose blend, and I'm going to kind of do it at a diagonal, and the darker colors are going to go towards the bottom. So Wisteria is the first one, and then I'm going to use Lilac. I've sped this up super fast. And then the next one is going to be Nectarine, and the last will be Lemonade, and those will be the colors that I'll stamp with as well. Okay, so this is going to be my background on my card. So I'm just going to peel off the purple tape, and then I'll remove the stencil. And these are easy to clean up. I just wipe them with a microfiber cloth. You can also spritz them with some of my acrylics or just water, and they'll wipe off. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and I have loaded my stamps onto my blocks, so I'm ready to start stamping. And I have a piece of white daisy cardstock. So I'm going to stamp a variety of these flowers. Some need to be colored in or could be colored in, and some are solid. So first one is in Nectarine, and then the next one I'm going to stamp in Wisteria. And then I'm going to stamp another one in Lemonade so that I can have the middle of the flower in Lemonade. A trick to getting these solid stamps to stamp clearly without any voids of ink is to make sure that you can't see any bubbles, any air bubbles when you load your stamp onto your block. And then you know you have it on right, and make sure you have a good cushiony surface. That's why I'm using the back of my Versamat to get contact with all of the paper. So the next one, the smaller flower, I stamped in black because I'm going to color that one in. And then I'm going to stamp some leaves. So I'm using green apple and clover. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to need, so I'm just kind of stamping a variety just so that I have all my stamping done. And then I'll figure out what I'm actually going to use to put my design together. And different sizes of leaves. So I'll stamp some in green apple as well. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I have a piece of white daisy cut using the middle size of the stitched brackets, thin cuts. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment. It says Sending Smiles. I'm going to stamp that in black. Okay, so our stamping's done, and then we're going to do some coloring. I'm checking the stamp set just to make sure I've got everything stamped that I want to have stamped to use for my card front. I want choices. Okay, so I'm going to color some of these images in using the tri-blend markers, and this is just a basic general coloring. I'm not going to do blending because I don't want a lot of moisture put down on my card, since the stamp was done in Close My Heart ink. I don't want it to feather. So, and then I'm using the shimmer brushes to paint with, and They've got some really good color in them. This one is wisteria, and then I'm using a pink, and then gold, and peach. It's close to the nectarine. And then I'll layer that with wisteria. And then I'll use some yellow in the center of the flowers. And then I'm going to use the Evergreen Shimmer Brush. And this one, it came out a little bit darker than I had expected, but I'm going to make it work. I love the shimmery bright color. And then I'm using julep for the center of the flower. I mean, the leaf. And then I'm going to bring in a green tri-blend to do the smaller leaf, so that it's not quite so dark. And after I'm done coloring these guys in off camera, I'm going to fussy cut everything. Okay, so now I have everything cut out, and I kind of laid things on my card front just to see how I wanted to place everything down. I'm going to do a side fold A2 size card, and this is the wisteria ribbon. It's just a basic grosgrain ribbon. So I'm going to put that down on my card front using some glue dots. This piece of white daisy that I use the stencil on, it's cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So now I have a piece of craft foam, and I'm going to pop the whole panel on the front of my card. So I'm going to glue that down. It's just a little bit smaller than my card front. And I'm using the Tombow white glue. So we'll get that placed. And then I'm going to tack my sentiment on my card front using some foam tape. These are the centers of the shaker foam. When you use those, you have a lot of leftover. They cut the centers into squares so that you can use them. So save those middles because you can use them for other things. So I've cut a border. These are the stitched rectangles, and I've cut 2 layers of wisteria cardstock with that largest rectangle so that I can layer them and stack them just for a little added dimension and stability. So I'm going to glue those 2 together. So I'm going to frame my card out using this wisteria. And then I'm going to glue it to my card front. I should have used the aqua to sandwich them too. The white glue is great as long as you have complete paper-to-paper coverage. If any seeps out, it tends to stay a little bit tacky, so that's why I like to use the aqua glue if I think I might get a little bit seeping out from the edges. That happens. They're both great glues. It's just kind of trial and error on which one you want to prefer to use in which situation. So now I'm gluing the yellow. I've fussy cut the center of the flower, and then I glued it on top of the wisteria one. And then I'm going to pop that on my card as well. So now I'm just kind of building my cluster on the card front. And I'm leaving some spaces under there where I'm putting my foam tape, just so I'm able to slide some of the leaves and other elements underneath. And then we'll get flower down. This is a fun set to work with. It's a little different than what I usually do, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of a whimsical, I don't know, groovy flowers. So I'm just kind of clustering everything and layering all of the flowers. When you put your foam tape down, make sure that you keep them on the same level so that they don't wind up going down like at a diagonal, so they can all be even. So that's why I'm just putting the one little bit of the foam tape so that I can glue the rest of that small flower directly to the wisteria flower. And I'm just kind of working in some of these leaves, figuring out where I want to place them. And that one I didn't leave enough room underneath the flower petals, and so I'm just going to cut that leaf in half so that I can fit it in there instead of trying to slide it under the flowers on the card front. You can always trim things down to make things work. Get everything tacked down. So this is a fun stamp set for the stamp of the month. And once again, if you make a purchase of $50 or more, then you are eligible to purchase this stamp set for $5. And it's a full-size stamp set that usually that size would retail for $18.95. Okay, the last step, of course, is to add some extra bling. And I'm using the clear sparkles. We'll use a larger one in the center of the large flower, and then I'm going to put a whole bunch of these little bitty ones in the little white circles that are on that nectarine flower to really make it pop. Okay, and that's my finished card. I appreciate you watching today. I will make a list of all the supplies with links in the description below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And thanks for watching.